Sir, we are live.
Good evening, everyone. So here we are, and I can see some of you have joined in, and others are joining in. Good evening to you, Wrinkle, Vismay, and other people who have joined in. So, guys, I'm sure a lot of you are there. I mean, you're there in your Azais or some other contraption while we are at office. Yes, I do work on Sundays. So one student of mine called up, and she's studying in US, and she was like, "Sir, you're working on Sundays? Why is that?" So I told her, like in India, you have to be a hardworking guy. Oh, Asmi, good evening from DXP, Dubai. Good evening to you and welcome to the show. Hello, Nivesh. So I'll be taking your questions by and by. I'll be showcasing a lot of things to you and we'll be talking in detail about profile building. You know, number of years back, I got a friend from Canada who was working in education sector and he was helping students go to US and Canada, and he was also doing summer schools with some prominent schools in India. So, so this guy Sham. So this guy, when I met him, he came and he said, "Hey, what do you do for profile building?" And I answered, and he said, "Jitin, I would tell you a way, and it is a very detailed way." And then we kept on discussing. Then we worked out 10 things a student should have in the profile. So right now also some of my friends who run study abroad companies, when some parents go to them, students go to them, that clarity doesn't emerge. Today's session will make you very, very clear about profile building. That's the intention. Good evening, Ananya. Good evening, Nivesh. And Devash, yes, I'll take this question. How you can go abroad with low CGPA? Of course, you have to tell me how low it is. Is it very low, or is it okayish? You know. So is it between, like, I don't know, 60 to 70, 70 to 80, or maybe 80 to 85? I don't know. So how low we are talking about? You can study. Yeah. Good evening, Siddharth. So I can see a lot of people have joined in. So I'll quickly start. In between, I'll keep on showing you a couple of things. So I'll just start off. Ribu, if you can set up the presentation. So Ribu is our very senior marketing person who's helping us with this. So this is what we are going to discuss. Good evening, Sharia. Next. Yeah. So we'll just showcase step by step. Okay, this is the end result. If you make a good profile, you can get good scholarships. Of course, you need to have good academics, and in some cases, depends on the country, good marks or good portfolio. So one of my students, she got New York University, Abu Dhabi full ride. University of Toronto, we get a lot of scholarships every year. So some people getting 40, 50, and 100% also. I'll show you that case. Pratt is a very, very famous design school. So Pratt, we got $88,000 scholarship. SAEC, again, same design school. And then University of Toronto, for 4 students, we got CAT 20,000 per annum. Cal Arts, and a lot of other schools. Next. Wrinkle, are you in school or college? And then we have admits to Cornell, Columbia, John Hopkins, NYU, top universities, yeah, Cambridge. In fact, the next session, the student of ours who's in Cambridge, she'll also join in. So if you like my YouTube channel, on YouTube, you can just see Jitin Chawla Center for Career Development. So you'll be connected. And next time we're having a live show, you can be there, and we'll be having a lot of students. So we are starting a series with student of ours who are in first year, second year, third year, or final year, or who have just started working. So young people who have done exceedingly well, we are just starting off with them also. So good evening to you, Yugal, Alex, and Wrinkle. Next. Yeah, Wrinkle, are you in a school or college? So it depends again on the country. Like if you're going to Australia, even at 80-85%, you can get a scholarship. If you're looking at US, good universities, then maybe 90 to 95. Yeah. Vismay is asking, what should I aim for as a student studying in 10, SAT or IELTS? Uh, Vismay, if you're looking at US or Finland, then you'll go for SAT. IELTS you can do later. Don't worry about that. IELTS just like in 12th also you can do that. Okay. So, 10 components of profile building. What are these 10 components? What all, how should we look at profile building? So, think of US Common App. Think of the Common App. So, Common App, there's a space to fill up 10 activities. Yeah. Hence, I have given 10, but most of the students whom we are helping, yeah, parents who are listening to this, we have a very, very good team which is helping students with profile building. Step by step, they engage with students and day in and day out, they're with them and they push them, cajole them, or sometimes they themselves are pushed if the student is smart. But finally, the end result is that typically people have 12 to 14 activities listed in their CV. So, what are these activities? ECA 1, extracurricular activity 1, ECA 2. So, something at the school. Maybe you're into public speaking. So, you're participating in any competitions, in MUNs, in Gables Club. So, like extracurricular activity, you need to identify and then work on it consistently at least for 2 years. Internships. My team will showcase some internships to you. Bharat is there in the team. He'll be showcasing the internship portal. We have tied up with more than 50 countries, and that internship portal is just going live. Next 7 8 days, it will be live. Of course, today also he'll show you some stuff where you can do internship. There are no charges for it. Yeah, research paper, very very important. I'll show research papers in the next 2 minutes. I'll be showing you live what people have done. Yeah. So. Okay, Vismay is saying US, so we'll be covering US Vismay. And after I just write it down so that I don't forget. So Vismay is asking for US. I'll cover that. Devarshi is saying after graduation, can I go to Ireland? Devarshi, you can. So Ireland has some very good universities like Trinity College, Dublin. You have National University of Ireland. So very good universities are there. So all this will go on YouTube, Wrinkle. So I'll not disturb the flow right now, but it will all go on YouTube. But still, for a moment, I'll just show. Can you show the previous slide, Ribu? Wrinkle Sood wants to see the previous slide. Oh, this is our top adverts. Next, please. Ha. No, next. Not not previous. Yeah, wait a minute. 10 components pe aa jao. I'm completing the 10 components. So social project. So there's a distinction. A lot of people think I'll go and work with the NGO. Sorry, that's old school. New school is I create something. One of my students who love mathematics created a curriculum so that so that uh, school teachers can teach maths in a fun and an easy way. So it was uploaded on a website, and two practical this thing happened at two government schools also. All that was uploaded on his website. Yeah. So social project, tech project. You are making something, making an app, making a price predictor using Python. One of my students did that, housing price predictor. Competitions, music, arts, theater, dance, any one of them consistently done. Online courses, credit-based summer programs. Yes. So, Vismay, you can come to us. You can connect with us. Ribu, if you can showcase our numbers. Vishmay, you can just WhatsApp us. I'll set up your meeting with our study board team, and we'll be happy to take it forward. Uh, Ribu, you can put my number also so that I can directly interact. Wrinkle, it is extracurricular activities. I'll just take questions after some time. Just wait. Let me complete some stuff. I am showing you some stuff now. Very, very important. A lot of people keep on asking how to do this, how to do that. So I'll be happy to share stuff with you. So I'm just opening up my screen share. And now what should I open first? Okay, I'll start from down below. Yeah. I'm showing you I'm showing you some work which our students have already done. So like this is a PDF. I hope you can see this. Okay. So this is a journal in which this has been published. Moral implications of genetic engineering. Yeah. The student is a student of Vasant Valley. Yeah. So he's like my team is working with him. He's an enrolled student with us. So this is the research paper. This is the literature review, ethical concerns, ethical frameworks, regulations and oversight. Can you see this? Yeah. And the references also. Yeah. All clearly laid out. So this is a structured, why this is important? Because research paper uh, basically communicates to a university that you know about research. that you understand uh, writing a research paper, that you are a person who's interested in a specific area. Otherwise, how do I tell a university that I'm better than the next guy who's also got decent marks? Yeah, everyone has got decent marks, so what do I do? Yeah, like I'll just show you another research paper. This is a student who has, oh, this is a book, sorry. This is a book which, so more than 56 students of mine have written their published books. This is AI and future of learning, what students need to know. Yeah, this is a student from CGM, Conrad Jason Mary, a pretty prominent school in Delhi. Yeah, so can you do a book? Yes, you also can. Why not? Yes, you also can do a book. Yeah. So, Alex, yeah, we will cover Oxbridge. I have written it down, Alex. I'll just take queries after some time, guys. Just hold on to your queries. I'm showcasing real. Nobody, a lot of people don't showcase real work which students are doing. So I'm just going, and I've got a couple of things open for you guys, and I'm showcasing a lot of things which our students themselves have done. So next thing I'm showing you is another journal which student have worked on. This is, what is this? Oh God, it is so, yeah, share. Got it. Social and economic factors that influence carbon mapping efforts. This is a student from Care Mangalam Word School, and another student from a college in Pune. Yeah, carbon mapping. You understand climate change? So, so carbon mapping, data sharing, capacity building, everything in detail. Can you see this? This is a published research paper again. Yeah. So when you write this, a top university in the world acknowledges that you have, look at the bibliography. Yeah. So everything in detail. Can you see, like 21 other things were utilized to write this research paper. Yeah. So that is how we need to think. Now I'll just show you something different. I am just showing you. Okay, let me show you this. This is very, very, very different. So it's a lot of people who have a lot of people who have interest in mechanical engineering. Yeah. So you can, or like solar power. So you can make this. You can make solar powered water trash collector, water pollution. I'm just giving you examples. Technical project. Yeah. Solar seawater pollution transmitter, electromagnetic braking system, coin operated water ATM, coin operated water ATM. Yeah. I'm sure you would have seen this. So 3D scanner machine using Arduino, 4 slot operated cola vending machine, auto dough maker. Maybe make it and help your mom cook rotis, or I don't know, at your house you can start doing it. 360-degree fire protection system, robots, yeah. So this is, so things like these you have to pick up and you have to keep on doing on a regular basis. Gitika Gupta, yes, we help people with research paper. You can find another video on my YouTube channel which talks in detail about how to write a research paper. It's a 2 hour program. One of my colleagues has done it. Okay. Next thing I'm showing you is another research paper. Oh, this is the same one. Sorry. I I just opened up the same one. I'll show you something else now. I'm just showcasing something, then I'll go back to the presentation and I'll take your questions subsequently. Just wait for some time. Okay, I'm showing you an app, Vibe Verdict. Yeah. This is some kind of vibes, like customer sentiment analysis with reference to products. So this is a app which was developed. This was developed by the CGM girl I was just sharing with you. Yeah. So yeah. So this kind of tech project can be done, or the mechanical project I showed you. So that is a tech project. Yeah. And then let me show you one last thing before we move on to the presentation. Yeah. So I hope you can see this. So a lot of competitions also. A lot of people ask me that how do I look at competitions? So like Google Science Fair, Intel Science Fair, you know, Tech Challenge, Destination Imagination, robotics competition. So if you search, you will find out more competition compared to me. You will be able to find out. Check out sites like unstop.com. You can check a lot of other sites also. Yeah. So yeah, so that is how it is. Can you put up the PPT now? I've shown a lot of stuff, guys. Now coming back, and any university, any top university interested, you need a profile. If you have a profile, your chances of getting scholarship increase by 50, 60%. If you have a good profile. Yeah. Of course, a good university looks at your academics, past academics, 3 to 4 years, depending on the country. They look at your any exams which you have to give, like in US system SAT or ACT, in US system APs. Also, if you can put up the PPT review. So, so yeah. Next, we can look at. After that, we can look at. Yeah. Thanks. Uh, we would look at uh, basic some like your English level, IELTS or TOEFL also would be seen, but after all these things which I mentioned earlier. Credit-based summer projects also can be undertaken. Summer programs actually, it's not projects, it's programs. Next, next please. So Arushi Anand, one of my students, just joined last year at. So she got very good admits. Let's see the admits next. University of Toronto, full ride, full scholarship. Michigan State University, she got a scholarship of $40,000. Next, that's a lot of money. What all did she do? This is her profile. So research paper, yeah. Again, we had helped her. She founded a company called Aesthetic. She was volunteer with CRY, intern with Ministry of Commerce. So last year, I think 36 students were enrolled with us. They went to intern with Ministry of Commerce. Typically, we give project-based internships, and we work with a couple of ministries, and we help them with various things in which young people are very good. It might include social media, writing something, shooting videos, helping them start off, with the ways to connect with their audiences. So she also went to Singapore and Interact Club and school leadership. She was active, interned at a lot of places, and art portfolio also. She was very good at painting. Next, Kritika Ahuja, yes, profile. Very good question you have asked, Kritika. It does matter for Indian colleges if you're applying to Ashoka, Kriya, if you're applying to Ahmedabad University, or imagine you're sitting in an interview at IIM Indore. IIM Indore, you have cleared the written, you're sitting in an interview. Out of the five people who are sitting, almost everyone has similar percentage. What different thing you have done? So if you have done a research paper, so you can speak about something. If you have not done anything, what will you speak about? Yeah. I got into FMS Delhi, my MBA interview, because while doing physics honors, I was active in stock markets. I actually did very small investments. So when I gave them that story, they really liked it and they said, yeah. Later on, a professor who knew somebody from my family, so he shared that we liked the way he talked about stock markets. Debash, yes, it is possible, but obviously you'll not get the top university, but the next level of university you can get and then apply for a transfer later on. But yeah, Kritika, the second part of your question, if it is only exam based, like if it is CUT only, there's no interview, then it may not matter so much. Or engineering IIT JEE, after that it may not matter. But do profile building not only to show to the university, but to make yourself stronger that you know about this topic. You have researched on some topic, you have done an internship, you'll become 10 times more confident. A lot of things in the world you'll get if you become very, very confident. Yeah. Okay, Kritik Sehgal, I was just sharing. Look at what I mean. This was an amazing student. I think he was there with us last year. He went. So this guy, research paper, National Science Olympiad, lot of competition, Technoplex, Pyrocrypt, and so on. He was Indian mathematics. Sorry, International Mathematics Olympiad. He was a winner, rank three. He did a lot of these Python-based projects, house stress predictor, face and eye detection. He was a lead drummer also. Yeah, so it's not that he's only good at studies. He was into drumming. He volunteered with a NGO which we work with regularly. Scholar badge, online courses, everything. Next, Jyoti Nair, that is what we are speaking about. So now I'll invite Sumer from our team to speak to all of you about in detail about components. Sumer, if you can start, we have a couple of questions. Vismeraj, UNESCO course certificate will definitely be helpful. Alex, one is of course we'll answer this right now. How your daughter can balance the studies. Uh, Sumer, if you can answer Alex Swaroop's question. Daughter is doing IB between studies, SAT preparation, karate. She has no time to do extra things. So we have projects like this. Even if she can, if she's around and my team can spend time with her, they can together work it out because the team comes with a lot of resources and thought process to help students do things faster. Yeah. Maybe you can just check Khan Academy for SAT training. So SAT would be required typically in US, requires it in Finland, or okay, if I'm applying to any top university, other countries, I can submit if I have a good SAT score. PSAT may not be that much required. PSAT is not required. It's just like you're just preparing for SAT. So Wrinkle Sood, apart for PCB student, you can check out bioinformatics. It's very good. Outside India, bio plus management. Check out University UCL, University College London. They have BSc Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Very good course. Or US, I have a student Joyce who's gone to Boston. He's doing a bio plus business management course. So that is really hot. Or check out computer drugs design, health informatics. These are hot areas. Okay. Later, other questions later on. Now I have Sumer. We'll just take on a few questions and take up the rest of the presentation. Sumer, all yours. You are mute, I think. Sumer, you are mute. We are not able to. I am not getting you. Okay. Meanwhile, as Sumer is coming, investment banking, you will go for finance. Yeah. Asmi, you can go for finance. So I suggest you can look for US, UK, Canada. Canada will be difficult without maths. Then you can look for Australia. You can look for European countries. Yeah, any of these you can look for. Sumer, are you able to? I'll just take questions before. No, I can't listen to you. Or you can take my laptop and work on it. PCB is okay for subject choice in 11th. Yeah, I think Sumer is just coming, so we'll just take up. So I was talking about Asmi's question. So finance is what you should look at. If you're looking at a easy admit Asmit, check out ISEC. ISEC Business School. You can start off in Singapore or France. It's actually based in France, and they have exchange programs with 133 universities. Amazing, isn't it? 133 universities. Yeah. JNGK, like if I look at India, physiotherapy might not give you that kind of return, but outside India, it might. Outside India, it depends on which country you're looking at.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, now we can. Finally.
Perfect, perfect. So sorry for that technical glitch. What's up, YouTube? Typically, just to add to that biology question, just wanted to give you another course. Imperial College London has a BSc Biochemistry with Management, so you can definitely try that out. So yeah, real quickly, we'll just talk a bit about the unique components of profile building. What are the certain aspects that universities consider very unique? Now, please understand that whosoever is listening to this webinar, uh, when an Asian student is typically applying to an international university, they already know that you come from a very rigorous background, an academically rigorous background. However, it is very important to differentiate yourself from one another. For that particular reason, these are the three main aspects which specifically talk about how can you add value to your own profile in a very unique manner. For instance, there are blogs or podcasts that you can specifically do. So last fall, I had a student who did a podcast series on financial literacy for underprivileged women. So he used WhatsApp, the voice note section, to overall tell underprivileged women that what is the important aspect of savings, why should one be investing, how to use digital payments, why is a bank account important. Those kind of things really came into play as such. So that is an important aspect that you guys can consider. Social projects. So, as Jitin sir also mentioned, and it's quite true now that if you're interning or if you're volunteering with a proper non-profit organization, there's no unique value that you're adding. That's the most generic thing that one can do. However, if there is one social cause that you're very much concerned about, or maybe it may be relevant to the field that you're wanting to study, so you could plan a particular project out and you can do some sort of scalable actions in order to build up on that social project. Build a website, advertise that particular website. So I have a student from the US. She's currently building up her own website wherein she's going to be tying up with local businesses and she's going to market for them for free. And she's going to advertise her website. So that's a social project that one can specifically take up. Research paper. Now it's You have to also understand that these universities are not looking only at your overall extracurriculars, but they're also trying to understand what is your intent, because a lot of institutions internationally are very research oriented. So if you showcase your entire motive of doing a research, or your aptitude or your skills in terms of doing a research paper and getting it published, that adds a lot of value to your profile. So especially if you're a CBSE or an ISC student, because for example in the IB board or in the Cambridge board, they have these options particularly of doing a research as a part of their curriculum. So for that reason, you should definitely look into these aspects. So podcast one, if you have something to talk about, if you're very opinionated about something or the other, you should definitely look at it. Social projects, research paper, these things really matter to your entire profile as such. So, keeping everything in mind, what you have to also understand is that in terms of research, you have to also think of the appropriate blogs where you can specifically publish your research. Make sure that whichever research paper you specifically take into account is going to have a lot of credibility, and that this is something that you can do through the ISSN number. Right. So there are certain other components, which are specifically more generic, but if you execute it in the right manner, and if you can report that on your application in the right manner, you can actually do wonders with your entire application to international or as well as certain national universities. So something like internship. So internships are an important way to understand that how specifically do you you whatever you've learned theoretically in class in school, or maybe through your online courses, you're being able to understand those things experientially. So there are projects that are there in internships. You get to shadow your supervisors. They tell you as to how the work is happening. It also gives you a glimpse of the industry that you want to specifically go into. So I still remember when I was a high school student, I had interned in a law firm, and that particular law firm really exposed me to the corporate law side of things. So I was into legal research. I was also taking out precedents and all of those kind of aspects. So it really gave me an understanding of how a particular field is specifically placed. Then summer programs. Now what happens is there are two types of summer programs, whether nationally or internationally, wherever you get through. If a summer program is competitive, it adds a lot of value to your profile. Very, very big value comes to your profile. But if the summer program is that you just made an application and you've gotten through, it may not give you that much of value, especially if it is very highly priced. If it is coming at a cost effective solution, you should definitely look at it. So Rishi sir would be also joining in. He heads the profile building division in the organization. He will tell you about the different summer programs later in the webinar right now. There are certain online courses that would help you. Now online courses are specifically given by a lot of universities as well as organizations, in order for you to build up your on your already garnered skills, or maybe there are certain skills that you require. I have a student who is right now learning video editing through online courses. So these kind of aspects really help you in terms of your skill building. But if you just do the online course for the certification, it will not make any sort of impact in your profile. So please make sure that you experientially use the knowledge that you're acquiring in the online course. Just to compare on this, say for instance a student does a Trinity grade 6 thing in terms of rock and pop and things like that. That certification will not hold any sort of value in your profile until unless you've been to recitals, you've been performing on stage, live shows and all of those kind of aspects. So that is very important to see. So certain examples of online courses would be elements of AI, Google Digital Garage, that is towards fundamentals of digital marketing. Then there is the junior MBA program that is offered by Clever Harvey, project management by Google. So there are multiple areas that you can specifically go around with, right? So now the next aspect that you have to also consider is the extracurricular activities that you can specifically do. So the music, sports, painting. So whenever these universities are looking at your overall profile, they want to see any sort of unique talents that you may be having, right? Then what is your school position, your class rank? Are you somebody who's performing consistently in the top 5 percentile or the top 10 or the top 15 percentile of your class? So if you're performing very extraordinarily well, that is something that these universities are also going to take into consideration, whether it is in the US, in the UK, Ashoka, for example, in India, Canada, Australia, those kind of options. Then, if you're a club member, so if you've been, into the Interact Club and school clubs, and if you've acquired that leadership position also, that also adds a lot of value because leadership is an important trait that these universities look at. Then, any sort of startup ideas or business ideas. So, if you have, as a high school student, if you have any sort of a startup idea and you scale that up, automatically half the battle is won in terms of the most competitive universities in the world, right? If you've authored a book, like for example, earlier in the presentation, you would have seen the sort of examples that have been published in terms of books and things like that. So this is how you can specifically look at it. If you have your own YouTube channel, but you've gained a lot of traction on it, you've become a social media influencer, those kind of aspects. So any sort of app development. So I have a student. He specifically has built an app around the raising funds of farmers and things like that. So for psychology, you could specifically get into certain internships. Like for example, Mulchand Hospital has an internship for students who are interested in psychology. Gangaram Hospital has it. So like that comparatively. So over to Mr. Dr. Rishi. So Dr. Rishi heads the profile building aspect of our organization. He's the one who's spearheading everything. So we're just putting him on. So it will be great if you can hear from him as well.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Rishi this side. So, Sumer has covered a lot about the activities that are involved and what are things what we need to do. Specifically, when we talk about research paper, uh, then there are certain myths which need to be clear that research paper is not something not doable. There are certain steps and procedures to be followed when we focus on research paper, and more specifically what we need to focus is uh, whether we are focusing on topic of our interest or not, because if we are focusing on a topic which is not of our interest, then we might find it very difficult. So, what the first and foremost priority should be that we take up a research paper which is of our interest. Second thing, it can also include certain areas in which we are looking ahead to build up a career also. Like if a student is interested in AI, so my students have done research paper on uh, combine things like AI and biology. If they are interested in biology and if they're interested in technology also, they can do a combined research on AI and biology. Some students have designed research paper on design, product design and AI. Fine. So we have to keep it in mind that our research paper also is related, somewhat related to the current topic, because um, the reviewer also if the reviewer who is going through your profile as well as going through your college application, again is focused on one thing, that are you updated with the current trends or not. That is very important. Okay. Second thing is publication of the research papers. So when you talk about publication of the research paper, keep in mind that the journal which you are selecting is, suppose if you are focused on if you're focusing on a research paper in economics, so keep in mind that you, if possible, try to publish it in specific journals. Like we have two kind of journals. One is multidisciplinary, the other one is subject related. So you will have journal of economics or you will have a multidisciplinary journal. Now here in front of you, you can see a list of good research publications in which, like, you have a publication for psychology, you have publication for literary studies, then you have for humanities, then you have for developmental research. So you can also focus on publishing a paper in that journal. Second thing is, as earlier discussed, we have to have it keep it in mind that what is the ranking of that research journal, right? So keep it keep a keep keen focus on what is the publication ratings of that journal, right? Second thing is, again, when we talk about the publications, fine, you need to know about certain rules. Like for example, if you are publishing a research paper, then whether it is following the format or not, that is important, fine. And what you can also focus is whether your research paper is primary research paper or secondary research paper. Now that why that is important, primary research paper you have to start when you have good amount of time and you can devote that time in collecting data. So primary research paper is based on data collection, and that is always considered better than the secondary research paper. Though secondary research paper, which is like if you are reviewing certain if reviewing a number of studies which are already been done, so that is also counted as very good. But you have to keep it in mind, if possible go for a primary research paper where you will collect the data, because it shows two things. First is you are proactive in your research approach. Second thing is you are genuinely interested in that research area. Third is that you will be able to create some very unique research output when you are going for a primary research paper. Can we have the next slide for that one? Yeah. So
Right. For this
yeah.
particular section, we'll also invite Mr. Bharat Bharadwaj. He's the president and the CEO of Center for Career Development, and he'll explain to you about internships and how you to acquire them as well. In the meantime,
Sumit, you can take you or Rishi sir can take it up as Bharat sir is busy in a session, so you
okay,
can take
not
it.
a problem. But in the meantime, what we'll also do is we'll answer a few questions that have come up since we've started taking over. So, Devarsh has asked that is it possible to study in Ireland with a 60 to 70%? Yes, it is. You can look at universities like Dublin City University, National University of Ireland, Galway. It also depends on the major that you're wanting to do. So, if it is not a competitive major, we could also probably try Trinity College Dublin and University College Dublin. Asmi has asked, Sir, investment banking, top universities in reasonable budget. I took commerce without maths, very difficult because for finance related areas, you need to have mathematics. So, if in case you want to apply to a top notch university, say for example in the US, I would suggest that if you don't have maths, try giving an AP mathematics in order to meet the eligibility, and through that, you will be able to move forward. Vismay has asked, I have a UNESCO course certificate. Will it make my profile strong? If you have used that UNESCO course certificate to build up on other activities as well, yes. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. Alex has asked, my daughter is doing IB. Okay, that we've answered. How do we prepare for SAT, PSAT, and where is it required? So, SAT would be required specifically in countries like the US, largely. And even as a matter of fact, in certain European countries, for instance, you could specifically look at Finland. Finland is very heavy on SAT. Certain universities in Prague, Czech Republic, which is Charles University, would require SAT. There is a university for which you could do engineering in English at a very low cost. That's called KU Leuven. So an amazing college to definitely look at. Then other than that, SAT can also be given to certain Indian institutions as well. So for example, Ashoka, you can supplement your application with that. Flame, you can supplement your application with that. So certain liberal arts and modern age colleges, you can definitely supplement. Then, how do we go about for profile building? Jyoti, I would recommend, since this is a very huge and a subjective answer, we would specifically want to personalize this, with our specific guidance. So that is how we'll go about it. Right. What are the opportunities for a PCB student instead of a doc or a scientist? So for a PCB student, you could also get into something like pharmacy and you can take up a corporate career overall, wherein you could be handling the sales division or you could be specifically into the strategic management side of things overall. Other than that, if you want to think of anything else, probably bioinformatics would be a very good choice, but that's more of a data science biology kind of a area. Do you help in internships for graduation students also? Yes, we do. Mira has asked, do you think PCB is okay for subject choice in 11th? Is math needed for UK medicine? Math is not needed for UK medicine, but it is better to have it since that adds a lot of rigor to your profile comparatively. Vihan, what all can be pursued in chemistry and biology? Something in between. So Vihan, we've done a webinar specifically about PCB related careers. I would suggest that you could also look that up on YouTube. But there are options like biochemistry is there, forensic science is there. You could also do something like behavioral ecology, which is a psychology of animals as such. So those kind of aspects you can also get into. Genetic science is also there, biomedical engineering if you have math. So those kind of options. Good branches for psychology, Siddharth, would be clinical counseling in India if you're looking at it. Internationally, if you're looking at things, then probably criminal psychology is a very good and upcoming area. Consumer psychology, forensic psychology is also pretty awesome. So that way it will basically go. Is math needed in 11th to study medicine in UK or Singapore? Singapore, yes, in certain colleges that can be an option, but UK, not very much. But it's still better that you can add, rigor to your profile comparatively. But let's plan a session and then we'll help you with that also. I'm a PCB with psychology student. What all combination of colleges do you recommend? Mm, Largely, if you're a PCB, combination of colleges, probably I didn't understand your question. If you could reiterate that, I'll specifically be able to help you. Get a 3-year work visa after the undergrad in US? Not necessarily. Yeah, I mean, if STEM, but if you're doing business, so certain programs in business are also counted under STEM. Psychology is also counted under STEM. Sociology is also counted under STEM. You would have to check with the university's department. Is archaeology a good career option internationally? Yes, it's a very good career option that you could look at. All right, that's it right now. So we'll continue with the webinar. Dibu, if you could just load the presentation up. Right. So, one of the new platforms that our organization has been working on has been to help you find internships, since that's more of a very difficult thing these days for a lot of students, where networking is involved. So this is where we would be helping you. You would specifically, we'll be updating a lot of internships that would come our way, and we would update it in terms of organization. So there are a lot of international organizations that have started coming, like Rage Coffee, Bold Care, Zet, those kind of, in even as a matter of fact, the Indian set of organizations like the IndusInd Bank, so MobiQuick, which are finance related internships. So there are multiple genres of internships that you could specifically look at. Ripu, if you could just show them, if you click on the explore all section, so you'll be able to see that what are the kind of internship opportunities that you can definitely work in. So designing is one area. So UI and UX design, so a lot of organizations like Swiggy, Droom, MobiQuick, these online platforms are hiring UI UX designers. So for those who are not very well aware of what a UI UX designer does, so for example, with your phone, with the entire home screen layout and the icons and all those kind of things come under UI UX, which is user interface and user experience design. So those kind of aspects would come into play. So other than that, there are other genres, like for example, marketing. So digital marketing is coming up very strongly. So organizations can give you their social media handles and you're responsible for posting stuff. All right, be a little mindful of that, because there's a lot of trolling also going on. But finance, you find many internships. Data analytics, one of the best things right now that's happening. Business analytics. So those kind of areas, one can specifically apply for. So internships, again, very necessary for somebody who's just ideating on a particular career or has decided that particular career, and then moving forward in terms of just exploring that particular industry. So that's very important. If you were to compare yourselves to students in the US students, they start working part-time from grade 9th onwards, right? So you have to match up to that expectation as well when it comes to admission officers as well, right? Right. Ripu, if you can go back to the presentation as well. Right. So next, you can skip this slide. So leading internships for school students, you can find other areas as well. Next, you can go to the next slide. Yeah. So internshala, although that's more for college students, but sometimes high school internships also do land up here. There's unstock.com also, which is specifically into internships as well. Glassdoor, Naukri.com, the Times Jobs, all of those kind of areas specifically come into the internship side of things largely. Next. So there are leading organizations for that basically hire high school interns as well. So Sukarya Foundation, Ekpel is in Agra, but one very leading NGO. There's Global Cancer Concern India. So if you're looking for any sort of volunteering options and you're probably not very sure on a social project yet, and you just want to take exposure towards the social work side of things, then probably these would be the right non-profit organizations where you could intern and or volunteer and specifically acquire that experience and ideate on a particular area largely, right? uh, then other than that there is next Ripu, you can also move forward. Right. So this is an important aspect for any of the students who you can go one slide back. Yeah. So this is one aspect that a lot of students they have to also understand whenever they're applying for internships. It's not like an easy thing to just walk into someone's office and ask for an internship. It has to be a systematic process. So if you decide your core competencies initially, you would have to also understand that what kind of skills do you have. Like you may be very good at typing, or you may be very good at networking with people, or any of the other aspects. So you would have to really introspect what kind of skills can you put on your CV, build up your CV. You should have an active presence on LinkedIn. I mean, connect with whosoever you can, in terms of your interest as such, so that you can start building up on your entire profile. Make an account on job portals also, although this is more for graduate students, but yes, you could also do that. Follow websites of companies you're specifically interested in, and you just keep on checking that if there are any sort of openings or something like that, you should definitely apply. And then that is how you start networking and you start upskilling yourself. Next. So now the thing is overall that you'll have specifically a lot of summer programs that would come into play. So, for example, there are credit bearing summer programs like Cornell has a program, UC Berkeley, University of Southern California. In fact, a very competitive summer program for US students only is the Anson L Scholars Program, which gives you a research internship for about 2 weeks, about 8 weeks. Sorry, 8 weeks, 2 months is in total, and you specifically have a lot of genres to pick from. So whatever you want to research, whether it's physics, chemistry, biology, business management, any psychology or something on those particular areas, very easy. So you can specifically look into that. There's certain online courses also like Coursera, edX, Real Ecole, Google Digital Garage. There are multiple areas where you could specifically do online courses and keep on adding to your knowledge. Next. Right. So I just want to tell you a bit about the students that we have been working with, and how they have been also performing overall. So this is Mir. Mir got admitted at UC Davis, University of Toronto. These institutions. His intended major was math. So he wanted to specialize in something like combinatorics and things like that. So very specific universities offer this kind of a major and a specialization. So this is how it was. Next. So I'll tell you what Mir also did. So the way it started off with Mir was that he designed an entire curriculum to basically introduce math. So the problem sometimes, that certain students feel in India is that their math teacher might be too boring. So sorry if there are any math teachers here, but it may be too boring. So he created a curriculum and he started explaining how math is as such overall. I mean, started giving new areas of how math can be interesting and how can students learn from math. So this is how he did it. He did it with certain public schools, certain Delhi government schools, and things like that also. So that was like the hook in terms of his application. So that is why he was able to get through some of the most competitive universities in the US as well as in Canada, and move forward. Next. So now the entire aspect is that a lot of people think that, okay, how should I strategize my entire university applications and things like that. So for somebody who's interested in going to international universities, it's very important for you to identify your strengths and interests. Now, what usually happens is that you may be very, very interested in terms of some particular major. Say, for example, whether it is art, or whether it is psychology, whether it is some form of engineering, some form of natural sciences, astrophysics, these kind of areas. So you would have to first understand the strengths and your particular interests. Then you have to also research the universities that are really good in those particular institutions. But while also understanding that whatever your strengths are, relate to that university. Don't only run after Harvard or Yale or Princeton or something like that. See if that university also matches your interests, has certain clubs or minors that relate to you particularly, and that is how. You should also develop a timeline. So for example, if you're a fall 2025 student, that means if you're currently in grade 11th, uh, you should really develop a timeline that what are the things that you need to get executed. For example, if it is the US and you need to write the SAT exam, so that particular SAT exam has to be written when exactly? What is the score that you're targeting? Should you have another SAT exam in the pipeline? Those kind of things. When are the college applications opening? When should you start writing your essays and practicing your essays? All of those things you should now start putting into perspective. You should consider all your extracurricular activities, and of course take help from a specialist. This is not something that, I mean, of course we would love it if you could do it on your own, but if you could take help from a specialist, that person is already very experienced in terms of understanding the intricacies of all aspects of profile across majors and what universities are specifically looking at. So that is how it is. Next. So the way we work is also that we really help you from all angles. It's not only about your extracurricular activities, right? It's also about building up your personality, because whenever you go into an international university, for an Indian student, no matter how extrovert they may be, the initial hunch comes in. Probably I may not be, how will I introduce myself or something on those lines. So confidence building is very important. Or even as a matter of fact, for Indian colleges, time management, so we have specific modules as well wherein we help you in terms of effectively managing your time, how to effectively plan your studies so that you do not get any kind of things. If there are certain aspects like anger issues, or if bullying has happened or something like that, so how to build up on that particularly. We also help you with your presentation skills. I still remember we had an introvert student. He want I mean and the parents were very concerned that he doesn't talk much and things like that. So for the first 10 days of his internship, we just really helped him in terms of build making presentations, and then the entire office would assemble and things like that, and then the student would do these presentations. So that really helps you with your confidence, self defense training, first aid, all of the necessities that you need when you're going abroad to study, how to adapt to the culture, cooking, all of those aspects come into play. Next. Right. So I believe this is Dr. Rishi's cue. If we can have him back on, so we'll just tell you as exactly as to how our focus is on profile building. How do we go about it? How do we evaluate courses? That I'll also help you in terms of understanding. So Dr. Rishi, if you can just take it forward.
Yeah. So see, I'll say is when we need to work on 360-degree platform, then we need to focus on all the things. What we are doing is like extracurricular activities, curricular competitions and exercises, and other sports and games and other activities. And then main thing is how you present yourself, how you present yourself in that one page CV, right? That is important. And then second important thing is how you prioritize your profile. Fine. Then, as Sumit just discussed, every university has different priorities, have different bent of mind, have different set uh, which they expect from you. And when you look at the Common App and the other things, they have only listed out these activities, and it is also indicative. Fine. So it is for you to decide based on your career, based on your subject choice and the other things, what else you have added up, and specifically they are looking for your initiative skills, skills of initiation, your leadership skills, fine, your communication skills, and those important skills. So at the back of this CV, this profile is your skills. How you showcase your essential important skills is more important. Fine. Sometimes we get confused that how many different activities. These are 15 different activities listed in front of you, in front of me. Then how should I put that one, and how should I pack up everything in the form of my CV to be showcased to the university? Main thing is you have to prioritize. So this priority exercise, if you do in your daily life, that will also help you a lot. Like for example, you have different sets of competition, but it is not possible that you enter all the competitions at one go. So you have to prioritize, you have to plan out as per my planning, as per my other examinations, SAT examination, my board examination, or my school examination, or other examinations. How do I plan out my time schedule? So along with that planning for your profile, you also need to plan out that how would you utilize maximum from this 24 hours in a day, right? So it's also a race against time. And specifically, why things become little different when you go for foreign applications is that uh, you are focusing on the thing which you need to do after your universities also. So it is the right time, and I'll say it is a very good thing because you are preparing your CV at this moment itself. So you are working for your CV at this moment itself. By the time you end up you start up with your job, you're already more well planned, well placed, and more specific as compared to the other students. So I'll say in the other way, this helps you plan out your career also, because right here now you are focusing on all the essential activities. Plus, you are working not only in terms of your academics, but also you are working in terms of your extracurricular. And in one way or the other, it also helps you uh, to gain a lot in that limited amount of time, because it will help you to have a latent learning also, right? So evaluation is more important. Second thing is what all things you are good in. I'll say what are things you are good in. Then you have to keep it along with your academics, which is very much important. So so suppose you are good in playing, so take out time and start and utilize that time in participating in that school events. That is more important. Participate in the MUNs. This will not only help you to gain your knowledge, but also it will help you to build a good vocab. And you also know in the current scenario, SAT examination requires a very good vocab. So how would you build a vocab? Because when you're participating in an event, you are using something. And it is a rule in psychology that whatever thing you use, you become expert in that one. So you are not only mugging up a few words for the examination, but also you are using them. And the more habitual you become in using them, the more expert and more good you become in using that profile, that vocab structure, right? So and I'll say again, planning is more important. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Planning here is more important in terms of, and we as a team help you out in not only those specific domain, but also a complete planning, be it your uh, like timeline, be it your structure, be it your extracurricular activities. So we are working on some Google Sheets, so we sharing that, we share that Google Sheet also with you. We put things which are not done in red. So it is a kind of teamwork which is going along with your own process. And definitely, whenever you are focused, whenever you're trying to do something in a team, the output is always better than you alone yourself toiling out and then planning out each and everything. And sometimes you miss out certain deadlines. That is why I say it is very important to work in a team. Yeah.
Right. So that's what specifically we stand for overall. In terms of your applications, we help you with planning out your dreams, your targets, your safeties. We help you with your college interviews, your scholarships, everything A to Z in terms of building up and putting your best foot forward in terms of your applications. So that is one of the most important aspects that leads to everything. Next. Right. So let's cover a bit of US as well. Next. So, just starting with the basics with the US overall, the most important aspect is that there are more than 4,500 colleges in the US. Ribu, you can go next. So, 4,500 colleges in the US specifically, but how do you categorize them? So, public and private are the most important demarcations in the US colleges side of things. Particularly, it's not that the public universities would be ranked less or the private colleges would be ranked lesser comparatively. It's a active contribution. So public university can be a small or a huge campus. However, a private university can be a small or a huge campus, but a public university is always a huge campus, right? In the US. So there are different deadlines that specifically come into play. So whenever you reach your grade 12th and that particular year, there is something which is called ED or EA or RD. So certain universities in the US offer an ED deadline, which specifically is a contract. That particular contract states that if you come to us and if you sign the contract, if we give you an offer, you will withdraw from all other choices around the world. So that's binding. Versus EA, that can be restrictive or non-restrictive. If it is a private college, it can be restrictive, which means that you can only apply to one early university in the early action round, but you're free to apply to more universities in the public colleges domain in the early round. Regular decision, there is no as such policy particularly that it can specifically come into play. Financial aid. Now, what usually happens is that the US is the best place known for giving a lot of scholarships to international students. So, for example, there would be need blind and need aware related scholarships. So, need blind currently offered by about 8 institutions in the 7 universities in the US, but now I think there will be an eighth also. So, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, then Dartmouth. These are the four Ivies that specifically give a need blind financial aid. Fifth is MIT. Sixth is Bowdoin College. Seventh is Amherst College. Bowdoin and Amherst are liberal arts colleges. And then from this year onwards, there are talks going on that Brown University is also going to be need blind. So in terms of the geography, the so US is specifically for specifically Indian students. You have to also decide whether you wish to go to the East Coast or the West Coast. The East Coast is all New York, Massachusetts, Maryland, those kind of areas. The West Coast specifically categorizes of California largely. Then you will have Washington, these kind of areas largely. When you think on the cost of attendance specifically means your tuition and your living costs. So the tuition and living together.
Sumer, if you can focus on summer programs for research in US, Gitika Gupta has asked.
Absolutely, I will. I will. So just I'll complete this and I'll just tell you about it. So if you're planning to go to the US without scholarships, a public university would be somewhere between $56 to $65,000 per annum, and $80 to $90,000 for a private college. That is before scholarships, right? Financial aid is only given by private universities, and that to only select few private universities. Public universities only give merit-based aid as a law overall in the US for international students, and only some of them do give merit based aid. It's not all of them. So class profile, the admission statistics also matter. So you have to also research on what is the acceptance rate of the university, what is the average ACT score, all of those kind of things specifically come into play. So moving on to Ms. Geetika's question, specifically there are a few summer programs that specifically focus on research in the US. One was, of course, the Anson L. Scholars Program, but for that you need to be a US citizen or a high school student currently, studying in the US overall. But then there are other programs also that you can specifically look at. So ISSYP, which is offered by the Perimeter Institute, it's a math-based research program. Sumac in Stanford is a math-based summer research program, so you can get into those kind of areas as well, particularly. Other than that, if you were to consider other programs, then Maryland also has a research-based summer program that one can specifically look into. Lumiere Research also offers a summer program which is into proper research comparatively, and it is not across any specific genre. You can choose your own research areas in that manner. So that is specifically what you can definitely look at. Then yeah, so I hope I've answered your question on that particularly. uh Ribu, if you could just go next. Right, so we've covered this. Next. So let's talk a little bit about this, guys. If you want to take a screenshot, this is the time. So there are, so we've listed down 8 colleges, the Ivies in the US, their acceptance rates, their EDEA. So SCEA means single choice early action, which means that you can't apply to any other private college. ED, as I told you, it's a contract based thing, whether it is need blind or need aware. The cost of attendance, the average SAT that is required in order to get through, the location also, whether it's on the west coast or in the east coast, and all of those kind of things. So these are the stats that specifically come into play whenever you're applying to the US, largely. But this is not the entire story. The entire story also depends on your entire application as well. Next. Stanford, for example. So Stanford values academic achievements, extracurricular involvement, what are your personal qualities, potential for contributing to the Stanford community. Like, for example, what kind of clubs would you want to get into, or what kind of, majors would you want to specifically participate in? Would you want to do undergraduate research in Stanford? Those kind of aspects would come into play. Any sort of intellectual curiosity and passion, maybe you read books, then you've done a research, all of those kind of things. Extracurricular activities depth also. So if you're a high school student who's starting off with a profile, you need to really devote a lot of time to that particular activity and achieve a lot of milestones. LORs, so how are your teachers writing about you? Are you somebody who's very well behaved in class? I don't think so, but half of but overall, with regard to LORs, they also see the counselor LORs and things like that. Overall, the teacher LORs, that how they demonstrate your academic aptitude and things like that. Diversity and inclusion also, that how have you basically promoted diversity within your environment and things like that. So demonstrated interest is also another aspect that you can really gun into. So demonstrated means that if you've been to the US and if you've done a campus tour of Stanford and things like that, that also adds value to your profile, your entire application. So this is one of the aspects. If you're, if an admission officer is coming to Delhi or maybe your town or something like that, then if you've interacted with that person, asked questions, then they do take certain things like these into notice, and they help you in terms of achieving the Stanford dream comparatively. Next. So there are certain portals that one can specifically look at in the US. So Common App, Coalition App, these are the most common portals where a lot of universities have, are available. So you can, apply directly through them. University of California, UC's, UCLA, UC Berkeley, UC San Diego, UC Merced, Riverside, Irvine, Santa Barbara, Davis. So all of these kind of universities specifically are applied through University of California, all the public 9 universities, the campuses. Apply Texas is for all the universities of Texas. Apply Sunny is for state universities of New York. So these kind of options specifically come into play, right? Next. So approaching admission essays, that's something that we'll cover in our later series as well. Next. Next. So UK is also coming. I mean, is one of it's a fantastic option, particularly for somebody who wants to go study and have a very valued education. Very similar to India, the native universities in India, particularly the UK education. Best known for law, best known for business management, best known for medicine related degrees, even as a matter of fact, design. So UK and even some of the social sciences such as psychology, sociology, those kind of areas. So, and economics, of course. So these are very, very well known in the UK, largely, right? So UK is something that you can also look at next. Next. So this is a comparative analysis of all the countries that specifically a lot of international students apply to. So we've noted down the tuition fee and the living costs and the entire duration of the fee, programs. So typically, an undergraduate program in the US or Canada would be for 4 years. In the UK and Australia, it's typically 3 years, and most of Europe is as well as 3 years. Singapore can range between 3 to 4 years as well. Job search visa is typically available in most countries, but Singapore is a challenge. But if you do sign up with the MOE tuition grant, then specifically you can, I mean, you will be allowed to stay in Singapore for the next 3 years, but you need to sign a contract for that with the government that you can't leave the country for the next 3 years after you've completed your degree. Next. Next. Right. So, what are the certain aspects that the institutions internationally they focus on this, and this is very important. So, largely whenever an application goes to an international university, the first thing that they look at is the strength of the curriculum, which means that what kind of subjects have you studied, in your grade 9th, your 10th, your 11th, and your 12th. Are they the most rigorous subjects? So, for example, somebody who's taking up PCM with biology or a PCM with computer science would be more rigorous than somebody who's taking PCM with physical education. So, those kind of things. Any sort of college prep grades, maybe you've given the advanced placement exams. So, advanced placement exams help you win certain credits beforehand, so that if you do about 6 advanced placement exams, so in most of the universities, your 1 year would be waived off in the US. So your degree would be for 3 years then. Standardized test scores. So if you've written SAT or ACT, what is your score in that? Those kind of aspects. Your overall grades from class 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. But as an Asian student, if you're representing all of these things, they and that too in a competitive university, they automatically assume that you have that. But this is where we lose the plot, the voice of your application. So as far as the voice of your application is concerned, you need to have a good teacher recommendation. They should be able to comment about, how have you been in class, what is your aptitude, your overall interest towards a particular subject, how have you been scoring in class, those kind of aspects. Essays. So these are very reflective aspects of your application. So even if you're writing a generic prompt, you should be basically wise enough to make it very unique according to your this thing. Your application form, the way you're crafting it, the way you're basically using that additional information section on your application, demonstrated interest. If you've interacted with that college beforehand, more likely to get it. Extracurricular activities from 9th to 12th, your unique talents, you may be very skilled at playing the guitar and things like that. Any sort of leadership potential that you may also show, collaboration, or maybe delegating tasks, or maybe helping people, uplift, motivating other people, those kind of things. And then finally your counselor recommendation, right? So that way it will basically go. Just one thing, I think we should take a break and then let's just go on to comments also, since I love answering your questions. So Wrinkle has asked, what are the options with biology instead of PCB and PCMB? Um, Again, you could go into forensics, you can go into something like bioinformatics, medical informatics. You could fuse biology with business management, those kind of areas. Then Nivesh has asked this particular question, that what should we choose, core maths and or applied maths for BBA and BBM and IM Indore? Doesn't matter. Eligibility is for both comparatively. Wrinkle has asked, is some math more important for doctorate? I am not sure of that specifically, because maths you study at an undergraduate level, then at a master's level. So I think it would be necessary, depends on the program that you intend to do. Shaurya, we should go for undergraduate or graduate. Very subjective question, but since the past 3 4 years now in India specifically, students have started going more for their undergraduate degree, and that's likely so because you get to study in an international environment, more multicultural in terms of your approach and things like that. So for that reason. But other than that, also it completely depends on your choice if you want to go for your undergraduate degree or your postgraduate degree. But undergraduate helps you in terms of acquiring a permanent residency more easily. You get more adapted to the climate as well as the culture of that particular country. So for them, it's very easy, largely, to give you a job as well and things like that. So undergraduate, in my opinion, should be the way to go about it. Do six subjects help in profile building? Yes, they do, provided that six subject is also very rigorous and competitive. If you're taking physical education or commercial arts or any other lesser known disciplines, then it'd be tricky. Suggest good colleges in India for BTech in artificial intelligence. Apart from IITs, check out Plaksha University, liberal arts. Is a history required for studying law in the US? No, US doesn't really have any specific entry requirements in terms of the subjects that you should study. It's a reference based application. So if you have the most rigorous subjects against the person sitting next to you in terms of your application, then you will be the one who will be given more this thing. Do you give SAT coaching? No, unfortunately not, Mansha. We are not into test prep. We are purely career counselors and study abroad experts. The types of colleges you recommend for psychology or biology or a combination of both. Mimi, you should specifically look at the reel. It's pretty funny. We'll be publishing a reel tomorrow about the new aspects in biology and psychology. So University of New Haven in the US has a BS in neuropsychology that one can do. So it's a combination. Other places also, if you're doing a BS in psychology, then you study a lot of biology related disciplines as well. Asmi has asked AP math as in specialized topics, right? Like stats or calculus. Because I took commerce without maths, which one should you suggest? I would suggest go for calculus AB. What should I take for interior designing? As in subjects. So if you want to take subjects, you could take PCM or you could take commerce. Doesn't really matter for interior designing. Okay. So Shaurya has asked, we should go for undergraduate or graduate. Okay, that I've answered specifically. Wrinkle has asked, okay. Odyssey of Mind competition. I'm currently a part of the team participating. Will that help, please? Yes, if you win, it will definitely help you significantly in terms of your profile. Is there any scope for assistantship of a data science student in US college? If at an undergraduate level, no, but at a master's level, yes. Which country and university is best to study physiotherapy? UK, Australia specifically. Colleges for studying archaeology, that we would have to get back to you on, largely. I'll be looking for data science internships in 11 to strengthen my profile. So where can I look for them? You can probably plan a session with us, Vismay. We'll help you with regard to all of this as well. BCA is not offered internationally, Sumedha. So BSc in computer science is largely the degree that you can specifically do. Bachelor's of computer applications in India, if you're doing, completely depends on your goals. If you're somebody who's majorly into web designing, multimedia designing, all of those kind of areas, Android app development, iOS app development, then BCA or BSc in computer science, largely if you want to get into AI ML related areas in India. What category of internship should engineering aspirants go for? Depends. I mean, you could go in for something like project management also. Product management is also pretty good. Otherwise, you could also work with a mechanical engineer. You could work with certain mechanical engineering organizations as well. Civil engineering really depends on your area of interest within engineering. Right. So, so in a nutshell, that is, how we specifically help you with your entire segment. As you can see, with the way we've been answering your questions, not to act very cocky about it, but yeah, I mean, the thing is that we are very detailed oriented in terms of, the way we specifically research, the way we help you in terms of your profile building. We are known to create extraordinary profiles specifically in order for them to get through some of the most competitive universities in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, Singapore, India. As a matter of fact, we don't differentiate in terms of the countries. And we help you right from the very beginning in terms of helping you build up your profile, suggests gaps in your profile, any sort of activities that you should be doing before your applications go out to universities. We help you in strategizing your applications also. Over the past 5 years, we've been able to accumulate about $54 million in terms of USD scholarships. uh, we've 92% of our students have also received admissions from the top three choices in India as well as internationally. So that is the kind of track record that we also represent. So we'll be very happy to connect with you one on one.
Yeah, so
We'll be
Sumer,
very,
I would like to add
yeah,
that if students, we welcome all the students to our office. If they come to our office, they meet us personally, and then they take out time so that more and more can be planned out and discuss, and they'll get more clarity on that thing.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, that is how we specifically, go about it. We encourage a lot of people coming to the office, sitting with us, discussing. We going very much in depth about it. So those kind of things would definitely go. So for the next 1 week, we'll be hosting these free sessions overall. So my team members would be getting in touch with all the registrants who've participated in the webinar. You have my number as well. We can definitely give you a call, or you can call us, and we can book a session, and we can help you with this. Just to answer one question overall, last Alex Swaroop has asked, is chemistry necessary over economics as a third HL subject for engineering? No. Math and physics HL are very important, but until and unless you're going for chemical engineering or petroleum engineering or any of those areas, then chemistry would be an important aspect in your HL largely, right? So this is how we go about it. We'll be very happy to connect with you on a one-on-one basis, help you in terms of craft your entire journey, whether it is in India or abroad. Over the next few days, our team would be calling you. We'll be scheduling sessions, or either online or offline, whichever way we want to go. And yeah, we'll start with that particularly, right? Thank you so much, guys. You've been a wonderful audience. I've really liked answering all your questions. We've really liked answering all your questions, especially no Asmi. Unfortunately, we do not have a branch in Dubai, but we're available anywhere, virtually. So if you want to connect with us, we can, help in that particular manner. So we'll be, we're very happy that you've been answering questions I mean, you've been asking questions very regularly. So we'll love to connect with you and move forward in that direction. Thank you so much. Wishing you a happy Sunday. Good night. Bye.